friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here. Oh, a little bit too high. There. Is that better? Hey, good morning. Um, how do you say good morning in a lot of different languages? I know Guten Morgen, I think, is German for good morning. Um, yeah, I know Spanish, but it's getting rusty, so I'm trying to think of how to say good morning in Espanol. Um, Buenos dias, that's a good day. Buenas mañana. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. So, um, anybody know how to say good morning in Japanese or Chinese or something like that? Here we go. This is the first thing I want to show you. The parade of storms that I think will be interesting to watch as we get into December. So, on the far right of the screen, you could probably pick out the border. You could probably see Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada. Okay, on the far right of the screen. So, this stretches across the Pacific down at the southern part. Um, that's Hawaii. So, one, two, three storms lined up, and there's more back to the west of that. So, that means we're entering a a three to a solid storm system every 3 to 5 days. Now, that doesn't mean it's a big blizzard or it's a big ice storm or something crazy. It just means that we'll have probably a precipitation shield, let's call it, that takes up Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, with each one of these storms, as there'll be a full-fledged, what I call a mature storm system. So, but we're trending toward mild. With that flow, we may, for the first couple of them, be on the south side of the storm, the the warm side of the storm. Okay. Hey, good morning, Jesse Lyles. Thanks for joining us this morning. If you could hit the share button, I'm a little late this morning uh, just because I am. All right. So today we have good weather for travel, and tomorrow. This is tomorrow. Let me make sure we can see this here. Give me just a second. All right, so we're going to look at the European. We tend to use this because it tends to be very good, and the U.S. model, the GFS, just it's not even really worth looking at sometimes, except out to about 4 days, and then the European picks up. So this is tomorrow, and this is great weather for travel. Notice the red lines; those are temperatures above freezing. Those are temperatures aloft that would be warm enough for any rain. Of course, there's no precipitation around. So this is how you can get a feel that we're going into a warming trend. Thank you, Ed Johnson. Appreciate it very much. Um, and then this is Thanksgiving afternoon, and we're mild with no precipitation to worry about. And now that I say that, I guess I better mention the fact that if we start melting snow, what do we get sometimes? Fog in a light wind situation. So that tends to be dangerous early morning and after sunset and overnight. So daylight hours tends to not be too dangerous. Okay, so now we go into Friday. We've been watching a storm system that looks like it's going to pretty much shunt off to our south and east. Okay, so we're into Friday now, and look at the warming trend coming back already by Saturday. This is warm. You might be able to see a little 10 on the map there. That's plus 10 degrees Celsius at 5,000 feet up. That's quite mild for me. That's 50s if you didn't have snow on the ground. Now this is Saturday. Now Sunday. This is be one of those first storms that's out in the Pacific. Here's Sunday, and it looks like we're warm enough for rain on Sunday. It pulls down slightly colder air. And this is the other thing that's going to be interesting, I believe. I don't know how this weather update is going for you. I guess the main story here is that through almost all of the holiday travel period, we should have temperatures well above freezing in almost all of Michigan and not much precip, none Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we might get into some rain. And of course, that's quite a ways out, so we'll watch it. But what I want to emphasize is that I don't have an exact date for you, but remember, we're in a series of storms out in the Pacific. Usually there's about four. Sometimes there could be five or six. Um, and with each storm, the colder air looks like it drops more firmly south about 100 miles. So it doesn't swoop in, but what that does is it shifts the storm track with each storm south. And that tells me that if we kind of superimpose those two things together, mid December is about when it gets pretty active around here if we're still in the storm track and then we're on the cold side of the storm systems. So just something to keep an eye on. So we're in the next week, and here comes another warm surge. This would be, I guess, what I would call storm number 2 of the ones out in the Pacific. And look out at the Pacific West Coast. Um, the next storm system there, and that would be about 3 days away after that. But look, as we go out 10 days, look at what's left in our area after the second storm. A little bit colder air aloft, -6 at 5,000 feet. That produces snow. But as the storm approaches, it brings a little bit warmer air. So you can kind of see how we're gradually getting a shift of the colder air southward. All right, what I wanted to show you here is that look at what a couple of feet of snow does to the high temperatures. This is the high temperature forecast for today. If you've had a lot of snow, kind of expect it to underachieve on high temperatures and call it 33, 34, 35 degrees. That's still some melting for today. If you don't have the snow on the ground, like here in Frankenmuth, we melted almost all the snow yesterday, and we'll get to about 40 degrees. And Ann Arbor and Detroit will get to 44 to maybe 50. So that's today. I want to show you that the long range forecasters at NOAA are starting to pick up on the above normal precip 8 to 14 days out, November 29th to December 5th, above normal precip from the west coast across the Great Lakes. And then it's starting to pick up on how the warmth is moving and shifting out, and the cold air is shifting toward us. So again, that says to me that it makes for our next wintry period probably mid-December. I don't have an exact date, but sometime in there. All right, now let's take a look at the temperatures. Today, I showed you a better model that keeps you in the mid 30s in the heavy snow areas, low 40s outside of the areas. And then tomorrow we all jump to about 40 degrees, some upper 30s. And here's Thanksgiving, so you don't have a travel problem on Thanksgiving if you're looking at temperatures of 45 in Cadillac and 45 in Grand Rapids and 50 in Ann Arbor and Detroit. No travel problems there. It's all dry pavement. And Friday, 45-ish, a lot of places, upper 30s in the far north. And Saturday, maybe in the 50s. And I would definitely agree with that. Okay, Nancy Critton, here we go. Thank you. Top of the morning. Kahi Wilto? Kahi Wilto? Top of the morning? In Irish, I guess, or what language that would that be called? I'm not really sure. Thank you. We're looking for ways to say good morning, like Guten Morgen or Buenos Dias, stuff like that. So weigh in if you got to. How would you say it in Polish? Pamela Todoroff, when will we have sunshine this week? Um, we should get off and on sunshine. We should get at least partly sunny skies starting tomorrow into Thursday, Friday, and maybe Saturday. Because when the warmer temperatures come in, that kills the lake effect clouds and gives us some breaks. This is Sunday, 40s and upper 30s, and then next Monday a little bit cooler, and Tuesday mid to upper 30s. Wednesday, yesterday was showing 60 degrees, still showing 50s and 40s, and then Thursday of next week. And again, my theory that with each one of these storms, we'll drop down a couple of degrees, and the storm track then will be 50 miles further south. So it's going to take, since the storms realistically are tracking across Lake Superior and the UP in the next couple, it's going to take 2 weeks before they start to track across central lower or southern lower. That puts the snowstorm in northern half of lower Michigan, and then probably a week after that, you're talking Christmas. If we're still in the active pattern, you're talking Christmas when the southern half of lower Michigan could get into the solid snow system type snowstorm. Ah, there we go. Guten Morgen. Okay, in German, yes. That's all we've gotten so far is Espanol, German. Um, I don't know. In Spanish, we call that Alemán. I don't know if German, if you, that's how you say German in German also, or what. But thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. We have some pretty quiet weather. If you're in the north or the west where it's still some icy packed roads, give yourself a couple of hours today for the snow to, or the warming to start to work on the snow, and then you should be okay with a lot of good travel conditions coming up. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. Oh, Terrence Ryback. I guess I should ask for the phonetic spelling of these ways to say good morning, too. Zen Droby? Hey, Vern Fondren. Group hug. Group hug. I don't want to put you on your soapbox, but you are by far the best weatherman I listen to. And thank you. I'll get on my soapbox. Terrence Ryback. This would, excuse me, this would make an interesting post. How to say good morning in a lot of different languages. So I'm assuming that that is Polish. Zen Dobry? I don't know. Do you know how to phonetically spell it? That's what we'll work on for tomorrow, okay? We're going to learn how to say good morning in a bunch of languages, but also give me the phonetic spelling because some of these I wouldn't know how to pronounce. Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Take care.